All right.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm Kim Allen, and welcome to class. This is one of our speakers series videos today. We have here with us Rachel from Rise Gatherings. She's going to talk to us about her work, her education path, and she is my cousin. Rachel, tell us a little bit about your path. How did you tell us?
Yeah, I will tell you. Hi, y'all. I'm very happy to be here with you today, not just because Kim is my cousin and I love her dearly, but I know how much she loves and cares about you. And it just feels special to speak with you today. And one of my favorite things to do is to share my story. I feel that it's the greatest gift that we can give each other is to share who we are, in an honest way so that we can inspire one another with our story. And I know y'all are in a precious place in life, which is high school, and you're moving on to a new chapter. So I'm going to tell you a bit about all of my different chapters because I feel like I've lived a few lifetimes since I was where you were. And I wanted to start in the beginning, which was when I was a kid, because I think that my story may be more unconventional than maybe some of the others that you've heard. And, I'm happy about that, to share with you maybe a different path than the traditional one. So when I was a kid, I just had a sense about myself that I didn't really fit in the life that I was, born into. A white privileged Jewish girl. And I already didn't feel like that from the very beginning. I didn't want to fit in any of the boxes that were being laid out for me. And it was really challenging for me to do that. And I went through life in the beginning really fitting very nicely into all of these boxes as far as everyone could see. I mean, from my physical appearance to everything else. I had long blonde hair, what the media portrays as, perfect and fit and all of that. But people weren't seeing me and I couldn't see myself for what was on the inside throughout my childhood. So, my thing that I would say to you is as youth is to nurture yourself and who you are in whatever ways you can. Follow whatever your insides tell you, because now it all makes sense to me of why I didn't feel comfortable fitting in those boxes. So I live outside of Philadelphia. I went to a public school up until high school, and then I went to a private, real great private high school. I applied to colleges. I had no idea what I wanted to do. Absolutely no idea. I didn't even know what college I wanted to go to. I think I applied to 14 different colleges. I didn't get into where I wanted to go, which was Miami, but I think I wanted to go there because I wanted to go to be in Miami. I ended up at Boston University, which was wonderful. In the beginning, however, I had, again, no idea what I wanted to study. And I think there's a lot of pressure at that point in your life to know what you want to do with yourself when you're really still developing and just developing a sense of self. So I started at the General Studies School in Boston University, which basically meant I had no declared major. I was taking all the foundational courses. I was still taking in college history and science and, English and writing. And then after that, I transitioned into the communication school, which I felt was much more suited for me. And what I mean by that is that I enjoyed going to class. I enjoyed the conversations that we would have and connecting with the other people that were in the communication school. And I actually enjoyed doing that type of work. And there was something about that was hitting a chord for me. I ended up graduating with a bachelor's in communications with a major in PR. I also, during those last 2 years, took a lot of courses in psychology, which I almost minored in, which now makes total sense to me. And I'll come back to that because that communications and psychology didn't show up until later in my life when I designed my own life and my own career and started creating my own path. But after college, well, now this brings me back because before college, I had a high school boyfriend. And I'm going to mention this because I think it's very important for you to hear just a little bit of my personal life. Um, had my, yes, high school boyfriend. We were together through college. And then basically right after college, we got married. I was 24. So now what I would say is that was way too young. Because, you know, it did, not that it can't work, but I think that committing yourself to something so serious and such a commitment in life at 24 years old is actually not even fair to anyone that's involved. One of my greatest pieces of guidance would be to really feel like you have an understanding of who you are and what you want in your life before you commit with anyone else. Because that kind of held me back. And that's why I say it, because I came home from college, sure, excited about PR, but I moved right in with my high school sweetheart. And he, you know, took care of me financially. And I didn't have such a need or a drive or a desire to work. Also, my mother didn't really work. So it wasn't really modeled for me to pursue my passion or to be creative or to create a business or any of that, or to make my own money, whatever it was. So I continued in that path. And I went for some interviews after college, though, in PR. And I didn't get any of these interviews. I didn't get any of these jobs. And that was challenging. I mean, it was disheartening for me. And a lot of the response from people was that you don't have enough experience. But how can I have experience if I just finished college and I'm here, you know, just looking for my first job? So the point of that for me in telling you that is, I think that we gain as much as we love school and Mrs. Allen, and all of, you know, the institutions. I feel like you can only gain so much experience, connection, networking, knowledge, all of that just from staying within the lines of being in school. I would highly suggest you exploring whether it's getting a job at the local restaurant or, you know, being an intern somewhere, just putting yourself out there, being in different communities, having different experiences, because when you then go to get a job, a more official, I guess, when you're looking to be hired from someone else, if you're not working for yourself, you will have a breadth of experience, not only to put on your resume, but to speak about from a genuine place from within you.
Oh, you mean like volunteering, like community service hours?
Yes, yes.
Students are required to do 100 community service hours.
Oh,
Yes, rock
I
stars.
love that. Yes,
Yeah.
so that too. And also you can go get a job and make your own money right now and open up a bank account and start, you know, that kind of stuff, because unfortunately that's not the stuff we learn in school.
Yeah.
When in reality, when you're thrown into life, those are all the skills that you need to then learn on your own unless they were modeled for you.
So will you tell about your business, how you got it started and what you do now?
Sure. So that's what I was getting to, is then I got married at a young age, and through that ended up like tossing myself into the fitness industry, which was because the world thinks, you know, we have to look a certain way for our wedding. So that's how I got into fitness. And that was, you know, almost 15 years ago now or so, I guess, whatever it is. And I fell in love with fitness almost immediately. For me, I danced and played sports my whole life, so that made sense for me to connect with that avenue. So I got my personal training certification, and I did that for a long time, very, you know, working one-on-one with people. Then I actually developed my own fitness program called Kettlebell Kundalini. I took that, I got group fitness certified. I started teaching group fitness classes as well as doing personal training. Um, yes. Okay. Then I'll skip the whole big part because Mrs. Allen's like, don't tell the whole personal story. But so I got pregnant, and then
Life happens.
yeah, life happens, pregnant, divorced. And then it was me on my own. So I, for the first time in my life, had to take care of myself and my child and provide for us. So that was what really gave me a lot of motivation to take whatever I was doing and like expand it, make it bigger, and let my dreams really drive me. And my dream was to support other women who were going through similar transitions and transformations or challenging times in their lives, to support them through retreat experiences, which are ultimately an opportunity for women to get away from their everyday and to immerse themselves in an event for their wellness and for their well-being. And that circled back to my experience in my college degree in communications and PR, and psychology brought that in.
Yes.
So how to work with women and how to plan and program and put on big, meaningful events for people. Also intimate, but also big events. So we started that myself, and I got a partner in the business, which I think is key here too, because I was matched up by someone else who knew us to say, you two have similar missions. We're at completely different points in our lives. She's now 50, I'm only 36. And we came together and created a business based on that we both had the same desire, drive, and we had complementary skills to be able to produce it and make it successful. And neither of us actually had any experience in developing our own business, zero. So we started from the ground. What was the idea that we wanted to do? You know, how do we do this idea? How do we meet other people who are doing this idea? What are the different resources we need in order to create this? It went everywhere from email, you know, creating email marketing, to how do we generate an audience of people, to what equipment do we need when we actually do the event? What other women do we need, or what other people do we need working with us who have skills like in advertising or whatever else it is? Creating a team to build this business that is still running even post-COVID. Is that good for you, Kim? Where else?
Tell about Rise U.
Oh yeah. So in building your own business, you're constantly developing. I'm a very creative person, and I think this takes us back to where I said with childhood, is that I'm not creativity in our modern society. Thank God now things are changing, I truly believe. But in the world that I lived in, it wasn't so nurtured as being, you know, such a valuable part of ourselves. So now I feel like that's the part of me I can use. I can use my creativity to develop my business continuously. And through COVID, when we couldn't do events, you know, that being the nature of our organization, we had to shift. So we created an online program that offers similar experiences to what we do in person, which are workshops where we bring in other women from across the country to facilitate for a group of women some sort of experience around their wellness. We offer different types of classes, different types of resources, but we had to build that from the ground up. And so, you know, we're constantly shifting. And yeah, it's part of the excitement of owning your own business, but also part of the challenge.
Definitely. Well, I'm going to say thank you so much. And I'm going to ask the students to add their questions in the chat right now. So we have a lot of questions coming in. They look really good. You're on point.
How were you? Oh, go ahead. You want to say it?
So I didn't need you to cut short the personal part. I just don't want to run out of time. They don't stay with me. But life happens. Like, that's the thing that I think that I did not know in high school, was that I had this plan or this college major that I thought I would go do work in for the rest of my life, or at least like 20 years. I didn't realize how life happens and you get these curvy roads instead,
You sure do.
which leads us to so many jobs. And that's every single speaker I have has the same windy path. They all say, nobody is a postman for 60 years anymore. Nobody does that. Like, you go to school, maybe you study one thing, it applies in a different way. Maybe you end up not liking it. That's okay too.
And that's
So,
all okay.
right.
Going into it with those type of expectations rather than the alternative, I think just helps you, be all right with the winds of the path.
Yeah. I hope my students hear that. So, what do you think are some skills that are crucial for running your business now?
Some skills that are crucial for running my business now
Let's go
are,
first. Hard skills, a couple hard skills, and a couple soft skills. Let's do both.
hard skills. You're gonna have to like define these things for me too. I'm not a business major, but I'm gonna go with that. Hard skills mean um developing communications. That's one of, I feel like, the hard skills. How to um and how to identify your audience in different parts, how to identify my audience, and how to speak to them. Is that a hard skill?
Yeah. Do you write your own emails?
Oh yeah. I'm still, to this day, very particular about the voice of Rise Gatherings because it is, comes from me and my partner Tammy. It's very important that it has our essence and our voice in it, and what we want to share and what we want it to stand for. So I think that's one of the hard skills here in running the business, and also managing information. Being, we started from one document in a Google Drive to now, I bet we have 1,000. Managing and organizing information,
That's a big deal.
yeah, is nurturing and managing relationships a hard skill or a soft skill?
Soft.
Yeah, that feels soft, but also that's like major in life, period.
Absolutely.
Learning how to relate to other people, and that true connection will get you everywhere that simple statements will not.
Mm.
That's what I feel, at least.
Hmm.
And building and nurturing relationships is key to any business.
Okay. Somebody asked, did you have to raise money for your business and how did you do that? I don't.
So that's a great question, because now we've learned that somehow we were lucky enough to not to begin our business without having any capital. We just decided, just from the first event that we did, we happened to have a space. We were lucky enough to do it. I had all the ideas. I had enough skills, being like developing graphics and making an event page and all of that, to do it. We did one, then we did another. So as we brought in money, we were able to put it back into our business. And we've really been functioning like that. And we started out by me getting paid basically zero. I would get paid after the events, maybe depending on after expenses.
Right.
But then now we've grown to being able to pay both myself and my partner in the business.
That's awesome. I always tell my students, you don't have to wait for anything to start a business.
No, you do not. You really don't.
Okay, let's see. Was it hard to start your business while being a single mom?
Yes. There was also another one above that. So I want to make sure or not. Was
I
it hard to
got
start?
it. I'll monitor the chat.
Okay. Was it hard to start my business while being a single mom? Yes. I think the greatest challenge, except for that, I knew that the reason why I had to do it, meaning I had to get divorced, I had to do something more with my life, I had to use myself positively and productively. It was my daughter that, drove me to do that, because I recognized at a point in my life that I am the model for her. I'm not going to tell her what to do with her life, but she learns from who I am, not what I tell her. So I had to be that model. So that was really powerful. It actually lit a fire within me, that it didn't feel hard to start my business, but it was very challenging. It still
Hmm.
was very challenging a lot of the times. And emotionally and mentally were big components for that, with being a single mother.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Being a human. And leading into that, this year she's been home from school. So how has your business been affected by the pandemic?
Just more curveballs is all I can say. You know, there's not like it's not smooth sailing when you're continuously developing a business. There's times when you do things and you go, oh yes, that's how it's all come to this, you know? And then something else happens where there's a big power outage or like things that you can't plan for, like the pandemic. So it just required a lot more of my energy, but also for me to learn to kind of sit back and rest upon what we've already built. And then there will be a time when we can move forward again differently.
So you weren't able to have your retreat last year, but you are having it.
Yeah, we had to cancel our big event, which is our once a year annual weekend where 100+ women come in to the Pocono Mountains, you know, from nationwide. And that's when we generate our 90% of our income for our business comes from one weekend event, 90% of our yearly income. And we weren't able to have that event last year because it was in May, but we're doing it this September. It'll just look a little different.
Oh, that's great. You're able to get back at it.
We're getting at it.
So somebody asked, what do you define as success for your business?
Oh, I define success as impact. You know, I see many women, and I think that this is tough. And I love that question because, you know, it's important to make money in this world. We need money to not only live, unfortunately, to thrive. It's just the reality of our modern society. But I define success as, and I've definitely defined it through my business as how we impact other people's lives. We see women come in and one way and leave another, and everyone that they touch now in this renewed version of themselves is the impact that we can share in our corners of the world.
Oh, sounds so fun. Somebody asked, so you converted to an online format as Rise U. What else? Is there anything else that you had to do for your business, not being able to have gatherings during COVID?
Was there anything else we created? Yeah, we shifted. We used to do day retreats. So we do one weekend a year, and then we do about 20 to 25 day events throughout the year, which we couldn't do either because they're more intimate and in a home, in a space, in a smaller space. We actually converted that, so transformed it by taking one of the pieces, which was forest bathing, which is actually just spending guided time in nature. And we made that into a full event. So now we do our day retreats as these forest bathing mini retreats that we started holding by the end of last summer, and we're still doing them, and we're able to do them because they're all outside.
Delicious.
So you take what you have and you take pieces of it, whatever works, and you work with that.
Yeah. And books or some readings you would recommend as a business owner?
As a business owner, I do a lot more like of the human development work because I believe that that supports your business, period, and supports you in life.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I do too.
You know, and I didn't even mention anything about being a somatic therapist. That's a whole nother one we'll do. But I do know this book called Tribe, which I think is wonderful. I've heard of it and read it. I'm starting to read this book. It's actually on my nightstand. It's called Good Morning. Oh, I want to see it. I can't even see, but it's about a business. Can I go look real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Students, add more questions in the chat.
Oh, yeah, add more questions. I love this.
There's your doggy.
I'll show you what books are on my nightstand. You ready? This will be a good one.
I love this.
So this one's called Good Morning, Beautiful Business. It's a woman who opened the unexpected journey of an activist, entrepreneur, and local economy pioneer. She's local to me too in Philadelphia. This is a wonderful book. Then this is one of the Bibles, mine.
Yes.
We all believe in different things, but this is a good read, period. The body keeps the score.
Crazy. I hear about that everywhere I go, that book.
This has been on my nightstand for, I think, like 6 years. And then this one I just got, which I think applies here pretty well. Neurodiscipline. For me, that's something that is my challenge. I think I saw someone else write that what the challenges or weaknesses of creativity. And for me, it's structure and discipline. And I've, accepted and embraced these parts of myself, but I know that I can pick up more skills along the way as being disciplined. This one says everyday neuroscience for self-discipline, focus, and defeating your brain's impulsive and distracted nature. Which
I know
is
a
really
lot of
hard with phones. So
yeah. I'm going to pop off a few quick questions. What do you love to eat lately?
I could always eat pizza.
And do you have a morning routine?
Oh, yes. My morning routine consists of, well, it depends on the time of the year. Spring has sprung within me. I've just been waking up early with the birds, and I go down and I make my coffee and I stand outside in the sun for a minute or two. It's just supposedly super good for your body's systems for you to see the sun rise and to see the sun set. So at least I make sure it's one of the first things I do is get outside, look at the sun, let it come, like bask in it, and also do some stretching movement while I'm doing it. And that's just a few minutes.
Do you have a fitness? Tell us about your fitness routine.
So I'm like the most fitness person. Again, it's just an unconventional way about me. I think that our fitness culture is a bit distorted. I hope all of you on here understand that. And what I mean by that is we're a little we've taken it a little too far, where we've gone away from that. The idea of what we're doing is just moving our bodies and being active, and that's really what's good for us.
Yes.
My fitness routine is teaching my kettlebell classes twice a week, and also doing myofascial release, which I have these under my feet right now, actually, while I'm doing this call. So it's basically different tools to help relieve tension in your body and prevent chronic conditions.
Oh, I love them. And my foam roller too.
Yes.
One more question. Do you have any networking advice for creating or building those relationships, especially for young people?
Yeah, I think that the more traditional networking groups that still exist and thrive are wonderful ways to meet others that are like yourself and to also be in a more kind of supportive environment. There are groups for young professionals, young entrepreneurs that you can join probably for free, where you can gain ideas and resources. And that would be something I would suggest doing.
Yeah, for sure. I can see
Like,
that.
yeah, get active in a group, put yourself out there, meet others just like yourself.
Well, thank you so much for being here today, Rachel. Thank you.
Oh, it was such a pleasure. I wish I could be with you all in person. I really do.
Yes, thanks for watching. Leave a comment below if you have any questions, and we'll try to get her to answer.